How we doing, guys? Welcome to DT's Daily. Of course, it is the international break. So what are we going to be talking about today? Well, we're going to be talking about Martin Odegaard and his most recent injury. And we're also going to be talking about Arsenal fans, because have we become entitled? Now, what I mean by that, and when I say entitled, I kind of get why rival fans laugh at us so much. Now, before I really get in depth about this, let me just make this very clear. Being entitled and some of the stuff that I've seen over the last few weeks is in no way comparable to a fan that moans or objectively critiques what's happened on a match day after the game. Okay? They're not looking for viral hits. They're not looking to be the next superstar. They're just giving an honest assessment and opinion and not moaning for the sake of moaning. Now, some people will say, DT, did you not make a living on moaning? Let me tell you something right now. When I moaned, it was justified. Do you remember the mess we were in as a football club? Do you remember what we were having to go through during games? I remember being at Crystal Palace when we lost 3-0. And we're singing to the players, you're not fit to wear the shirt. At one point, we were 3-0 down at Bournemouth and we managed to turn it round and salvage a draw. European games, consecutive 5-1 humiliations against Bayern Munich, barely making it out of the last 16, let alone being in a conversation of winning it. We were never in league title races or anything. And what we did do was win the odd FA Cup. Now, that's great. Winning a trophy is amazing. And I'm very fortunate to have experienced it so many times. But all that did in that period was paper over the cracks. We had a gaping wound that we were constantly trying to fix with a plaster. And it was very reminiscent to the situation a few years ago with Manchester United and Erik ten Hag. They were terrible, but they went and won themselves an FA Cup. And Erik ten Hag in particular was like, we've had a great season. You know, who else has done what we've done? And trying to, paint this picture that was acceptable. But it's not. When you're one of the bigger clubs, the elite clubs, it's not acceptable to be so poor in the Premier League, to never be challenging, to not be in the Champions League and challenging and constantly finishing behind Spurs and everything else. But then you win the odd FA Cup or a League Cup and you think that's acceptable. No, it just papers over the cracks. I was valid in the reasons why I was moaning constantly. Okay, but what I'm seeing now, there's no validation. Now, I've spoke about this after the game against West Ham. How one fan in particular is talking on a channel, we all know, and they're saying about how we're not scoring enough goals. And I'm looking at it and I'm going, what are you moaning for? Until Man City won their game yesterday, or day before yesterday, sorry, we were the top goal scorers in the league. Man City are now gone one goal ahead of us, but we still got the best goal difference in the league. We've had to play at Old Trafford, at Anfield, at St James's Park, Man City at home. And you're saying we haven't scored enough goals. We're the only English team to win our opening 2 matches in the Champions League, and we haven't conceded a goal. We've conceded 1 goal from open play in 10 games, 3 in total. And I'm sitting there and I'm listening, and I'm like, you genuinely have no reason to moan. Now, I'll make this clear. I've spoken to the person in question. I have no bad words to say about him in a disrespectful way at all. But it doesn't mean I'm going to sit here and agree with what he's saying, because he's constantly contradicting himself over and over and over. And he's using this excuse that we've been here before and we've been let down and everything else and all the rest of it. That doesn't mean that you can sit there right now and spout a load of rubbish. Now, if we were scraping through every single game and we had 6 or 7 goals and our goal difference was, +1 or something like that. And you're kind of looking and going, okay, maybe there's validation to the argument that we're not scoring enough goals. But bar the Man City game, we've won 5-0, 3-0, 2-0. And in the Champions League, 2-0. And at no point were we threatened on Saturday by West Ham. And he's using the excuse that we could have thrown it away, that we was nervy and on edge. No, we wasn't. Not once in that game was we nervy or on edge. West Ham didn't have a single shot on target. Speaks about the first half and how, we were able to get just the one goal and that we're not creating any chances. Eze misses an absolute sitter. Bukayo Saka has a goal disallowed for offside. Calafiori hits the post. We score as well. On another day, we walk in at halftime 4-0. How many more chances do you want us to create? You're moaning for the sake of moaning. If I use this season as a comparable, when we played Liverpool, I wasn't happy with the team that Mikel Arteta put out. So fans criticising the team selection and moaning about the performance is justifiable. You're speaking about that exact moment, that exact problem. But when you're sitting there and you're moaning about something that leaves everybody scratching their head, it's entitlement. And you're moaning for the sake of it. Now, I genuinely don't believe that he's doing it for views and clicks, because he's been an Arsenal fan for a long time. But maybe he's just been brainwashed by this never-ending cycle on social media and trying to validate rival fans more than himself and Arsenal fans. And that's the biggest issue. When you're speaking about another fan that was saying it's not worth celebrating these victories and these wins and everything else. And first and foremost, I'm not going to tell a fan how they should celebrate when they spend their money inside the stadium. They pay for a season ticket or match ticket, whatever it might be. But if you're going to a game and you're not going to enjoy a victory, then what's the point? Why are you there? Because you're not enjoying it. You're not getting any benefit out of it. So what's the point? And this is a completely different scenario to the person I was just speaking about, because it looks like this person is waiting for a defeat. They're waiting for that bad moment. We lose a game. The hat changes and Arteta out one comes on. It's like a show. It's like taking props to a game. Oh, better put this in my bag today. Arteta out t-shirt, Arteta in t-shirt, Arteta out hat, Arteta in hat. Oh, wear what's according to the result. It's terrible and it's embarrassing. There's no consistency. There's nothing constructive about it. And again, you're trying to get validation from rival fans. For what reason? Because you want to be clipped. You want to be the next big thing. You want to be a superstar. You want to start earning loads of money or whatever it might be. First and foremost, nobody will ever, ever, ever be able to replicate what there was all them years ago. All of the personalities and the characters and everything else and the raw emotion and how genuine people were. You will never, ever be able to replicate that. It will never be what it was. Okay? You won't ever be able to replicate the things that some of us have done. Ever. Because it was just pure, genuine emotion. But this is not genuine. It's entitlement. It's looking for the next clip, the next viral moment. And I can see it a mile away. And then, listen, I just get really wound up by the whole situation, to be honest with you, because it's like, I'm all for everybody having an opinion. Every fan is entitled to that and everything else. But when I see just blatant lies and I just see a pattern in the way that they do things, I'll speak up and I'll say something because it's not genuine. It's not genuine in any way, shape or form. And it's embarrassing. We're top of the table. You're moaning for? Top of the table. Do you know how entitled that actually is as a football fan to be moaning when you're top of the table? There's 19 other teams in the Premier League that would swap positions with us in the table. And yet here you are moaning on the back of a win. A very, very comfortable win. Probably one of the most comfortable wins that you will have all season. But yet you're moaning. And that's what I'm trying to understand. And that's what I'm trying to get across here. There's no reason to be moaning. None at all. Even Mikel's team selection for the game was spot on. Wasn't negative. Wasn't anything that made you think, he's playing a little bit with a handbrake on today. No, there was no handbrake. That was fully off. Playing with one number 6 and 2 in front. What everybody's been crying out for. And that's the difference. Be constructive, be genuine. But they're not. So, yeah, listen. Said what I have to say, really. And the other part, before I forget this, the Bukayo Saka situation, and this is not anybody that's shown their face online and on a video or whatever. It's just what I've seen on social media. And I've seen Bukayo Saka getting abused and called all kinds of names and whatever it might be because he took the penalty. And I see one, comment talking about how he's basically getting too big for his boots and he's got this entitlement to think he can just take the penalty from Gyökeres. And he hasn't asked permission to take the penalty. What are you on about? Hasn't asked permission. What are you, his dad? About hasn't asked permission. Bukayo Saka is the penalty taker for Arsenal and has been for the last 3 seasons. He's only missed 1 penalty in the Premier League. And you seem to now think that out of nowhere, because some random journalist that nobody's ever heard of, at the very beginning when Gyökeres signed, went, he's going to be penalty taker. That's now set in stone. Who said this at Arsenal? Where has it been on .com? When has Mikel ever said this? Never. Bukayo Saka is the penalty taker of Arsenal. And I've even seen some people saying, but why didn't he give it up like the pity penalty for Havertz against Bournemouth back in the day? The game we won 4-0. The game we were 2-0 ahead already against a side that hadn't even won that season. When they gave the penalty to Havertz. That one, yeah? Do you actually think what you're saying before you speak? You fool. Absolutely non-comparable. 1-0 up against West Ham. Get the 3 points, job done. Honestly. Bunch of clowns. So many clowns within our fan base, man. So many. That just moan for the sake of it. When there's nothing to moan about. If there's something to moan about and it's justifiable, go ahead. Moan. Vent. Say what you got to say. Within reason. We all do it. I do it. It's fine. But you're going to moan because we're top of the league. We've got the best goal difference, but we're not scoring enough goals. Do you know how stupid that sounds? Everyone else from the outside's looking in and going, what on earth is this fan base? Oh, my word. Last piece of news, Martin Odegaard. It's been confirmed that he has a MCL injury. Of course, came off against West Ham. It's not ACL. In terms of the time frame, listen, dependent on what grade it is, it could be 2 weeks, 4 weeks, 6 weeks, 8 weeks, 10 weeks. The worst being the highest grade and whatnot. And I think it's a similar injury to Noni Madueke. But we've not had no precise, information and whatnot in terms of how long he's going to be out. He's pulled out of the Norway squad for their international matches. We know that. But he could be back in a couple of weeks. Or as the internationals start to finish and the questions start to get asked, it could be the similar situation as Noni Madueke, where it could be like up to 8 weeks. Who knows? But it's a blow. It's a blow. If it is 6 to 8 weeks or so, then it's a big blow. It's a big, big blow. But unlike previous seasons, we're stacked and we're comfortable. And Eza just slots into that position. And then you've got the likes of Wanyeri as well. So listen, it's not great, but it's not the end of the world, is what I would say. So we'll wait to hear more on that in due course. So listen, there we go. That is it for today's DT's Daily. As usual, let me know in the comment section what you think about today's topic, what I was speaking about. Do you think that Arsenal fans are too entitled? Some Arsenal fans are too entitled and they're just moaning for the sake of moaning, or they're moaning for the next viral clip. What is it? Let me know in the comment section. So, yeah, you know what to do. If you haven't already, hit the subscribe button, smash a like on this video, and I will see you a lot soon. I'm out of here.